Good evening, this is the Oscar expert with Brother Bro. We're freaking out. The last 48 hours has been a massive freak out. I feel like it's Christmas morning and I'm opening gift after gift of films that are premiering at Telluride and Venice. And what's inside each of these gifts? It's Oscar potential. It's awards potential. And obviously, we'll celebrate the movies regardless of their awards potential, but we're going to talk about that. There was an absolute Dune-gasm happening this morning, as I would like to say. Fans just reading reactions, the most glowing they could possibly be. Oh my god, it's everything I wanted! Oh my god, Dune is happening! I mean, we'll talk about Dune later, but...
No, we'll talk about Dune right now.
Okay, let's talk about Dune right now.
Come here, you could be in the video too.
There are people who are just like, guys, Dune is like everything I wanted it to be. It's completely immersive. I just forgot that I was like a living, breathing being while I was watching it. It's just a cinematic orgasm of sound and score and production design and cinematography.
Some people who are like, this is going to be an instant classic. There was one tweet that was especially hyperbolic that was like, this is how people felt when they were watching Tales from a Space Odyssey in 1968.
I'm happy people are excited. It's making me excited for movies in general. Although when the actual critic reviews did start dropping for Dune, and we didn't get a 96 on Metacritic as you'd believe from Twitter, I was like, that makes sense. Because the other side to Dune is that it's a little bit of a slow burn. You're not getting action at every turn.
Well, it's also just a movie like that's so ambitious. It's just not going to work for everyone.
Very valid thing that I think might bother me about it is that it is part one. It is Dune part one. Part two may or may not even be happening. We don't even know. And so that is inevitably going to leave some people dissatisfied. And we're seeing that reflected in some of the reviews.
So the reviews right now, it has a 76 on Metacritic with 18 reviews. And there were some people that were getting a little doomsday about it. They were like, Dune's not getting nominated anymore. It's not going to live up to everybody's expectations, of course. And if people have problems with it, that's fine. We don't need to shut those people down. But there are enough people who are genuinely loving the movie, thinking it lived up to everything, that passion is going to carry it really far. Will the pacing be a problem for the general audiences? I don't think we know that yet.
I think this gets into picture and director. I don't really have any hesitancy in saying that. I feel like it's such a sensation, even with the hype. The fact that there's a good chunk of people who believe it lives up to that and it's going to be their favorite movie of the year, and people think it's very well made in terms of its cinematography and everything. I think the film gets in for picture and director. I mean, this is also going to be nominated for a ton of technical awards, all of them, and it is going to win some.
Yeah, it's going to win score, sound, and visual effects. I don't even know if there's going to be a debate about that.
There's also editing, production design, and cinematography. Those it could win as well. It's going to win at least three of them.
Could it win director? I mean, I guess there's a world where maybe the movie isn't quite a lock and it's more like Interstellar, where there are those people who are just totally head over heels for it, but the Oscar voter is on the side of people who are like, yeah, I liked it, but I have issues.
Interstellar is an interesting comparison because it had a lot of people who liked it. A lot of people gave it their 100 rating. However, it was B tier Nolan kind of thing. You know how we talk about Pixar movie and it's an A tier or B tier? That was kind of what happened with Interstellar, and the ending just didn't work for a lot of people. I don't really think that's going to be the case with Dune.
I don't know exactly how I can justify that it's definitely not, but I do feel like it's not the same.
There is some percentage chance that it becomes Interstellar, but I feel like the prevailing narrative will be that this knocked it out of the park.
Also, it is being compared to Lord of the Rings in terms of being that level of spectacle. Even if it disappoints at the box office, it's still going to be one of the most widely seen movies in the conversation. It also has an 83% on Rotten Tomatoes with an 8.3 average rating. So it's some people might see the 83 and go, oh my god, it's not a 90, but you have to look at how many people are giving it 10 out of 10. I mean, an 8.3 average rating for that percentage is very, very high. So
some people are fucking loving the movie.
That's all that matters.
I think the second biggest thing, we'll just knock it out in order of what's biggest, maybe? Spencer.
So Kristen Stewart is coming out of Spencer as a Best Actress frontrunner.
She's in it for the win, everybody.
Yeah. I don't know who else is going to rival her. Jessica Chastain?
Lady Gaga.
Lady Gaga. I don't see them as much yet. I mean, obviously there's a lot of room to go. There's a lot to see, but...
People are saying she's, magnificent. Even people who are just, weirded out with the movie.
People are not having a problem with the accent, the mannerisms. Nothing's a problem. She's perfect.
The nomination is just incredibly a lock. There's just no way she could get knocked out for the nomination. And it remains to be seen whether she can get knocked out for the win because she is at the top, and she should be at the top of everybody's list.
We're also hearing that Johnny Greenwood's score is freaking great. Once again, like another amazing score under his belt. Is he going to be a bigger contender than Power of the Dog in this category? Like, is he going to get double nominated? We'll have to see. He might get double nominated.
The film is at least Jackie.
At least.
Jackie
at
got
least.
actress and score and costumes.
But it was too inaccessible for Best Picture. I mean, look on Rotten Tomatoes. That movie has a 60% with audiences. Will this movie be as divisive? We don't know yet. Because again, this is film festival audiences who are ready to go see anything that's daring or bold or even avant-garde. Some people have said as much. It seems like this movie's got some surreal shit in it. Like, it's actually like a very bold, risky movie. The cinematography's getting praised.
Look, the cinematography.
Claire Mathon, Portrait of a Lady on Fire.
So listen, Spencer is fucking bonkers and weird. Every review says it's camp. It's a reimagining of what could have happened, and it's like fantastical. It is absolutely nothing like The Crown. If you are expecting The Crown, you might not even like the movie, and I'm really excited because what I want from a biopic is a specific, interesting, artistic take that gets beneath the surface.
And the reviews are really good. We're getting rave reviews. We're getting a lot of people saying like, wow, this is, 10 out of 10, one of the best of the year. On Metacritic right now, it's got 6 reviews, 4 of them are 100, so it's at a 95. I don't expect it to stay that high.
It will go down.
Update, the reviews did go down. They are looking more Jackie level. However, the contingent of people who are head over heels and think it's like one of the very best movies of the year, that is still really strong. We have to see if those people end up in the Academy. We have to see if those people can really push it to picture and director. There are sort of conflicting reports on whether or not it is more or less accessible than Jackie. We have to wait and see. It's tough to say if it can get into Best Picture, but it's definitely possible. It's making me think that it could, because you have praise for Kristen Stewart, who's maybe winning. That's keeping the movie in the conversation big time. Then you have like a lot of crafts that are being praised. If it's a picture contender, then Pablo Larraín, could get nominated for director.
Oh, if it's Best Picture, guess what else? Director for sure. Screenplay, I feel like at this point it would be in my top 10.
At this point, probably. And another movie that is getting critical praise, but also proving to be pretty divisive, is The Power of the Dog. We had this at number 1 for Best Picture last week. It is not number 1.
I don't think it's winning anything.
It is not number 1.
Start out by saying I don't think it's going to win a single goddamn thing.
Now, you might look at Metacritic and go, it has a 90, but the reactions I've seen on Twitter and LETTERBOXD, there are people who are divided on it. There are people who are not knowing what to make of it or are pretty in the middle on it. This is not being reflected on Metacritic very much at all. So I'm still kind of confused at where this movie stands. If you looked at LETTERBOXD alone, you would think, is this even getting nominated?
No one's even giving it a 10. It's 8, 7, and 6.
And 4s.
And then you go to Metacritic, you look at critic reviews, and some of them are saying it's masterful. It's this poetic thing, Jane Campion at the top of her game. Other people are just I don't know why I needed this thing, or they think that Cumberbatch is weird and miscast in it.
Yeah, and then other people are saying it's his best performance of his career.
Some people saying Kirsten Dunst doesn't even do that much. Others saying it's her time to get nominated.
It's going to come down on audiences the hardest. They are not going to like the movie that much because it's going to take some risks with the pacing. It's going to be dark, and it's not afraid to be isolating, which is good. I think Jane Campion is already being praised for that, but it's not an accessible movie. Yeah. I think it might kind of stay in there. I don't think it's guaranteed, though. It's I don't know if this is a lock yet, because it could end up being more divisive than we're seeing with these critic reviews.
We'll definitely give a better take on it when we see it. Hopefully that will give us some more clarity. The cinematography, the score, again, Johnny Greenwood.
You got Dunst and Cumberbatch in the conversation. Where's Plemons?
Where is Plemons?
Where's Plemons?
That's what
Nobody's
I'm
talking about Plemons. They're just not.
Cody Smith-McPhee has replaced Plemons as the potential supporting actor candidate.
People are getting ahead of themselves.
I don't really think that will happen, though.
I mean, it sounds like he's great, and I'm excited for him to have this kind of role. Are the Oscars looking to nominate him? I'm not sure that he's on the radar.
I'm actually really interested in Kirsten Dunst's narrative this awards season. It would be sort of redeeming the kind of cold shoulder that Hollywood has given her for all these years. So I wonder if that could actually carry her in and make her pretty strong. But I don't think she's going to win.
Jane Campion's narrative, too, is very strong. 2 actors, a couple technicals,
Yeah, and overall, some of the reviews make me optimistic. They say it's really poetic filmmaking, which I'm looking forward to. Yeah, Power of the Dog's not a People's Choice winner. But let's talk about a potential People's
let's
Choice
talk about
winner.
the inevitable People's Choice winner at Toronto.
It's taking all the boxes for that movie.
Yeah, it's
and
Belfast.
some people are saying lock for Best Picture, and I do not disagree. Just looking at the trailer, this is like the Oscar indie package. It's like technically impressive with like the black and white. It has like a child in the middle, and it's this indie spirit, but it's like funny and charming, and everybody is just so good in it. And there's a supporting performance here and a supporting performance there. And
if it wins People's Choice, that makes it top tier.
There were some reactions where they said enough. They said like, oh, this is one of the best films of the year. Even if this is like not everybody, even this is just some people, and then other people are totally cynical about this thing, because I've seen some cynicism about people saying like, oh, how dare you compare this to Roma? Like, Roma is high art. This is just whatever. Even if that were the case, like that would be enough people to get it in, because I'm getting like Jojo Rabbit
crowd pleaser
vibes.
I've seen very good critic reviews, make no mistake, but some critics are going to be like 7 out of 10ing this thing. It literally does not matter, because it is for the Oscar voters. It is for them. They're going to love it. That's how it is. It
looks like a film that I will end up recommending to my parents to watch, because the trailer seemed funny.
It looks charming in the way that the Oscar voters like. We're seeing a definite screenplay nomination going along with that. In the acting categories, we have Dench supporting. Okay, she's strong. Somebody said that at the end of the movie, she turns the audience into a puddle of tears. What are you gonna do about it? Kieran Hines. Many of you remember him from like smaller roles. Like I kind of recognize him from There Will Be Blood in a smaller role, but here he is shining, and he may get an Oscar nomination for it. I'm not gonna call him a lock, but he's getting that kind of praise, that kind of buzz here. Jamie Dornan and Katrina Balfe also getting a lot of praise. Some are speculating like, where are they going to put these two? Like, they could put them in supporting, but then they'd be competing with Hines and Dench. So they might want to keep him in lead. If they keep him in lead, they definitely have less of a shot.
If the film is really strong, she could get in.
The real lead of the movie is a child named Jude Hill, and he's going to get a bunch of like those young actor awards. Potential cinematography nomination means the shit's black and white. And director, this is like Kenneth Branagh passion project. Like, there's so much narrative behind it because it's semi-autobiographical.
And they like to nominate writer-directors in the director category as well.
It doesn't need to get a 90 on Metacritic. It gets in like with anything above a 75, and it can be a really big contender potentially. Also SAG Ensemble, like for sure.
Oh yeah.
My goodness.
Huge contender there.
And then there's King Richard. Similar to Belfast, it's a crowd pleaser. It's for the audiences. It's for the Oscar voter. I'm putting him in Best Picture. Will Smith, the frontrunner status is being affirmed for me. And we have Ingenue Ellis in supporting actress. Everybody who sees it is like, yes, this is happening. Yes, this is happening. She's like number 2 on my list just because I know that she's getting nominated. Like, it's going to happen for her. She's coming along with Will Smith. That's 2 actors. It could get screenplay, maybe. Maybe. It doesn't have to get screenplay. Well, it can still get picture. And there's an original song from Beyonce. From
Beyonce. That's 3 awards that is like pretty locked in to be nominated for. We haven't had a film win Best Actor since Crazy Heart that was not nominated for Best Picture. This film will probably be nominated for Best Picture. I feel very confident about that. I know some people are like, let's not sinking in for them. This is a crowd pleaser that people are saying if this went to TIFF, this could have won the People's Choice Award.
Also, Will Smith's gonna run his own campaign. Like, he barely even has to do anything. It's like when Brad Pitt was gonna win for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
It's practically. So I'm gonna predict like a solid 5 nominations here. I'm gonna predict picture, screenplay, supporting actress, actor, and song.
I wouldn't predict screenplay yet.
Really?
The Help didn't get screenplay. The Blind Side didn't get screenplay. It doesn't need it. It does not need it.
Okay, fine. That's the last one I would predict in the list, but there's a solid 4 in there for you.
But Will Smith does have some competition in Best Actor, I guess, because Cyrano is a thing now.
Yeah. That's
Cyrano premiered. Even though the reviews are kind of divided and all over the place, it seems like a movie that audiences are generally gonna like. It is Joe Wright's new musical based on a Broadway adaptation. Every single review is like, Peter Dinklage Best Actor, Peter Dinklage Best Actor, Peter Dinklage Best Actor. They're like, he could win. He's up there. He's a front runner. And of course, people want to nominate Peter Dinklage. Everyone's seen Game of Thrones. They love him in it. He's everyone's favorite character.
And he's never been nominated for an Oscar.
Yep. And he was kind of close with The Station Agent. And here he comes. He's coming to get the Oscar nomination. He's on my list now. I don't think he was even on my top 10 last time I predicted. Things change. Bucko.
Yeah, the goodwill towards Peter Dinklage is insane. His story for just how he's made it in Hollywood is incredible. I mean, given that the film's not a disaster and he's this good, I think he's got to get nominated. This could go along with a costumes nomination.
Yeah, I mean, it's a Joe Wright film, so there's a lot of costumes, production design. There's a lot of praise for the score, but the score is going to be disqualified because it's an adaptation of the score that was done on Broadway. It's interesting because the reactions are so all over the map. I don't know what to think of it.
Scattered.
Yeah, Peter Dinklage is in the Best Actor conversation. Like, put him in your 5.
Last Night in Soho reviews dropped after we filmed the video. So what do we think about that?
Well, maybe I was predicting some hopeful things for Last Night in Soho, but in the end, it does seem that it's not Edgar Wright's best movie. Some, people like it a lot. It's very enjoyable and it's very fun, but I don't think this is like a Best Picture thing. No one really seems to think so. We already have like 5 other Best Picture contenders. Like, what are we going to do with Last Night in Soho with its 74 Metacritic and no 100s? Like, I don't see this getting into Best Picture. In fact, I don't know if I could see this getting into many categories at all.
The Best Picture hype is just is done, and perhaps we were even just foolish for thinking in the first place.
We can't say that. The problem was the spicy teaser for me.
And there are people who are going to clamor on and say, well, still maybe it gets screenplay, still maybe Anya Taylor-Joy, still maybe costumes or cinematography. I'm so sorry. I'm just taking it off for everything. It's probably not even going to get like a campaign. Focus is going to focus on Belfast for sure.
Yeah, so I wouldn't predict it for any nominations at this point.
But if you're looking forward to the movie, it's not like you have to be disappointed.
I'm still going to see it. I'm still excited.
Like, the reviews are still pretty good, and so you have every right to be excited as an Edgar Wright fan. Maybe a little bit of supporting buzz I'm actually seeing for actress Diana Rigg, who people say has a really meaty role. Maybe.
Supporting actress is already pretty fucking tight this year, though.
All right, what else we got? We got Come On, Come On. We're spilling the beans here. We saw the movie. We're not a Telluride, but we've seen it.
A24 retweeted my reaction because I love the film like possibly more than anybody else who like tweeted about it. I'm a little bit disheartened because a lot of people are sort of like middled by the film.
It's getting good reviews.
No, they're very good reviews, but it's almost like the reaction that I don't want to see, which is like, it's sort of a charming and lightly funny drama with good performances and, a really big heart. I felt like it was more. I really love this movie.
People who are really into like these low-key slice of life dramas that really feel authentic and are moving, but in subtle ways, like those people are gonna love it. I love the movie too. It's one of my favorites of the year right now. Joaquin Phoenix is really good. Woody Norman, the child actor in this, stunning.
Best
Completely
child performance
stunned.
since Jacob Tremblay in Room. Like, no doubt about it.
Yeah. Also, Gabby Hoffman's really good in it.
The problem here is that people saw Joker and they were like, whoa, Joaquin Phoenix in clown makeup. And here he is connecting deeply with a child on screen. No one cares about that. No one cares that Joaquin Phoenix is like having this emotional connection, like where I'm literally watching the screen and I'm like, oh my God, like I'm just touched by like the way that they're communicating. And the film is like about communication, like on a deeper level too. It's like really gets me. And I just think there are 2 kinds of people. Like there are the people who say Joaquin Phoenix in The Joker is his best performance. And then there are those like me who say, he was even better in this movie.
The naturalistic dialogue that feels like, how did you like write this down and make actors say it and make it feel so natural? Like that's Noah Baumbach level shit that Mike Mills is on right now.
I don't think this will get Best Picture at this point. Screenplay is possible. And Joaquin Phoenix, I mean, we'll see if Letterboxd takes this film and runs with it. That's all I'm going to say. I hope people feel the way that I do about it. And if there are enough people that could get into Best Actor and Screenplay.
I think it's on the cusp of actor and screenplay, and that's probably it for it.
Yeah. I would love if this kid got nominated for supporting actor.
Yeah, I would
But
too.
that's just not going to happen.
Then we got Parallel Mothers, Almodovar's film premiered. Rave reviews for Penelope Cruz. I mean, was there any way around that? It has in the mid-80s on Metacritic. It's very strong. However, there's nobody giving it like a 100. It's a lot of like 90 to 80 range. Letterboxd, I think it's around like a 3.5, 3.6. So, another really good Almodovar movie. It's not convincing me that it's going to break him into screenplay or director again. International feature, sure. Actress, maybe. We'll have to see. We will have to see about that. And then we got The Hand of God. This one was interesting because the critic reviews, some of them were really loving it. Some people were kind of mixed on it. I was kind of surprised how many people were mixed on it, actually. On Metacritic, it's somewhere around like a 76. So I'm like, oh, I guess this is not getting like director nomination or whatever. It could still get international feature. But now I check Letterboxd, and all of a sudden, there are a shit ton of 8s, 9s, and 10s, and it has a 4 average rating.
Which is higher than any other film so far out of festivals on Letterboxd.
Yeah, and I think what's happening is that the movie is heartfelt and easy to connect with. It reminds me of Another Round because the reactions out of that movie initially, it was a little lower than expected, but then it turned out there was a lot of passion for it that we weren't seeing initially, and it got a director nomination. I think Sorrentino's still in the cards for this.
I mean, again, the movie has to win international feature for it to get that director nomination.
Well, is the worst person in the world gonna win?
People also love that narrative that Sorrentino is just making this film about his childhood in his home country.
Very similar to Belfast because it's about a director making a movie about their childhood and their love of movies, which of course makes them Oscar friendly. They love that. But yeah, I'm kind of curious about this one because reactions have been weirdly spread out. Then we had the card counter, which we thought was maybe not going to be that good. It ended up being double my Metascore prediction of 40. And the card counter is over an 80 on Metacritic right now. Like, what do I say about that? We were just wrong. Like, anybody who thought the trailer didn't look so good, I guess we were wrong.
There are some raves for the movie, which is, I did not expect there to be any raves at all.
Oscar Isaac is also getting a lot of praise. That's pretty expected.
Yeah, people are saying it's one of his best performances, and I'm actually gonna have to see this now. I was like, oh, I could totally skip this movie and it wouldn't matter. I'm gonna see the card counter now.
Well, it's coming out next week. It's coming out in literally like 1 week, and that's also why I feel like they're not trying to get awards. Where's like the build up that you need for that kind of buzz, you know? It doesn't feel like it's there. But I'm excited to see what's in store here, because apparently there's more than I thought. We have The Lost Daughter. I'm still trying to figure out what's going on with this one based on the reactions, because the critic reviews have actually been pretty damn good. Very high Rotten Tomatoes rating right now.
A couple people have called it a masterpiece.
What the fuck?
Yeah. A couple critic reviews have called it a masterpiece.
This is a thing with Venice, though. Like, literally every movie gets called a masterpiece when it premieres at Venice, including Downsizing. And this was also the festival where people were freaking out about Joker.
And a lot of people do not like The Lost Daughter. It has a 3.0 on Letterboxd.
Yeah, Letterboxd.
So a lot of people are saying like it's just not their thing. So this is another really like baffling one.
I've heard some people say Maggie Gyllenhaal feels like a seasoned filmmaker. Like, she's steps ahead of where she's supposed to be at her like debut film level. You know, you've got Olivia Colman, Dakota Johnson, Jessie Buckley. I've heard a lot of good things about all of them. Olivia Colman especially, getting a lot of praise. And I just can't tell if it's going to factor her in at all to the Best Actress race. Like, I literally can't tell right now.
Here's like an easy fate to imagine here. The people who love this film, who are mostly like film people who seek out films like this and who are not just told what to see by like hype or box office, those people might be saying, you forgot Olivia Colman this season. She was snubbed. She gave one of the best performances of the year. I'm sure already that that's true. I'm sure she gives like one of the best performances of the year. But I'm just not convinced that enough people will like watch this movie or care about it. She's probably nomination worthy, and I'm sure if I saw the movie, I would probably think so.
Yeah, I just can't tell if it's one of those things that people will just kind of ignore.
Yeah.
And it just won't be part of the conversation. But also Netflix has it.
Everybody loves Olivia Colman too. So yeah, it just depends.
Last, I guess, is The Electrical Life of Louis Wain, which has sort of mixed reactions, but also some more positive than I expected. Sounds like the movie, stylistically, is actually a little more interesting than it seemed like to me from the pictures. People like Cumberbatch, people like Claire Foy. I don't have much to say about it. I mean, I don't think it's like an Oscar contender or anything like that.
Yeah, like it debuted to good reactions and a warm buzz.
And those are the films that we're looking at from these festivals so far. And we're actually going to see a good chunk of them at TIFF starting on the 9th. So very excited to review some of these for you.
The rapid succession in which these films premiered is insane.
I'm overwhelmed.
I'm exhausted. My Oscar predictions are completely shaken up.
But I'm still like figuring things out too. Reactions and buzz can shift and shape a lot. So
we have to temper our expectations. Like not everything we think is going to happen will. I mean, First Man came out of festivals like so strong. And that thing just went. Shit happens. Also, Jackie. This happened with Jackie. It started out really strong out of festivals. People were like, of course. Also, everybody like called that Will Smith and Kristen Stewart would be the winners. And they might be the winners. It might not change. We don't know.
Thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. What are you freaking out about?